This Fleet Equipment Unscripted interview is presented by Hendrickson, a leading manufacturer of heavy-duty suspension systems and components to the global commercial transportation industry. Visit hendrickson-intl.com to learn more.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason Morgan, Content Director for Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted. Today we're talking with Tom Eibel, Business Development Manager with Freudenberg-NOK. Tom, great to see you. Thanks for taking the time.
Jason, thank you for having me today. I appreciate this. It's looking forward to talking with you.
Yeah, we're talking about transmissions today, and Freudenberg-NOK, it's a new name for me. So let's lay some groundwork. Can you give me a little overview of the company and your role in the heavy truck market?
Absolutely. Freudenberg-NOK, you know, it's probably one of the biggest companies you've never heard of. That's the funny part, especially in this market. And we're trying to change that a little bit this year. So Freudenberg-NOK, 175-year-old privately owned company, $14 billion in revenue. I mean, you know, we're just a big company that goes into a lot of different realms, whether it's medical, home stuff, home cleaning stuff, aeronautical, passenger car. We just do a wide range of things. And the division I'm with is the Freudenberg Sealing Technology, which deals with everything sealing. If it's highly engineered rubber to metal type things, that's what we do. And the division I am with, we focus mainly on the automotive, heavy duty, off-road, power sports segment. We've got a huge OE presence, and then we've got a developing aftermarket business that's global. So today we'll be talking mainly about Transtec, which is a brand under the Freudenberg-NOK umbrella, and then Corteco, which is also another brand under the umbrella. And I think the questions we're going to talk about will kind of define which one and where we fit in and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, excellent. I did do a little bit of homework there. And Corteco, Transtec, I mean, you have a long track record of supporting transmissions worldwide, right? Global player, new to the North American market. So what is your aim in expanding services and solutions into our market here in the U.S.?
You know, we've been focused on remanufacturing transmissions since the 1970s. We were really one of the first companies out there to focus on the automatic transmission side of things, light duty, passenger car stuff. And we make all these seals original equipment, and we started putting parts together in kits to support the rebuilding side of things. So if you're remanufacturing an automatic transmission, they certainly know the Transtec brand. That has been a staple for us. In the 80s, we then got into the power steering side of things. Once again, original equipment parts, aftermarket distribution, independent aftermarket, focused mainly on the remanufacturers, and we would provide the kits to help these guys remanufacture whatever units they were working on. So we've been around since the 70s, but just recently in the United States, we've been focusing on the heavy duty side of things. We do a ton of original equipment parts for all the big manufacturers. And we're just trying now to put all this together and bring it to the United States. We were focused on reman and being green kind of before the rest of the market was. It's been doing this for a long time.
Right. So you mentioned the automated transmissions, which clearly the fleets in the U.S. are extremely knowledgeable about. They've been in the market here as the primary major source of transmissions for a long haul on highway over the road. I mean, the names everyone knows: the Endurant, PACCAR, iShift, DT12, all pretty much standard in a lot of fleets over the road. But we are starting to notice that now that those first generation transmissions have been in the market, it's been about 8 years, we are starting to see some service upticks on our side about those automated transmissions needing service, right? Which years ago it was like just basically don't touch them, they'll be fine. Now we're getting into second and third owners. You mentioned the sealing, right, and all the seals that are in there as well. So what's your view of what challenges on the service and even the sealing side that you're dealing with in automated transmissions?
Yeah, the AMT has just exploded, hasn't it? I don't know what percentage of Class 8 trucks now are AMT, but it's high, and it's kind of come out of nowhere. And unlike the passenger car side of things, the heavy truck guys did it right. So, you know, the transmission unit itself really hasn't changed. It's the same basic unit they've been working on for 40 years as far as seals go and bearings and and the hard parts and the shafts and everything. But now they've thrown this mechatronic unit on the top, and that kind of messes up the soup, if you will. That's the black box that nobody seems to have solutions for other than the OEs. And it kind of hurts the aftermarket. So our goal is to not only come up with sealing solutions for every unit, like you mentioned, the Endurant and the iShift, the DT12. We want to create OE quality, I have to use that word, components for the sealing side of things. So all the gaskets and all the input and output shaft seals and all the little O-rings and everything. We want to be able to build kits for those, bring them to the aftermarket. But also our biggest tackle is going after the mechatronic unit. They're CAN bus driven. They're VIN specific, just like PASCAR. There's a whole lot of logic built into these things. They're pneumatic, they get dirty, and we've got a big hill to climb, but we've already tackled a little bit of this. So we're into failure mode analysis now. We're trying to figure out the quickest path to service for the installers and the remanufacturers to see what we can do to help them repair these units themselves rather than rely on the dealerships. So that's a big goal for us right now. And it's not going away. It's just going to continue. It's in class 6 through 8 now. It's a big market, and we're excited to jump in here and get involved.
Right. Yeah. And it's important to note, too, I mean, it's just going to grow in complexity because the transmissions that they're putting on the road today, the automated ones are leaps and bounds ahead of the ones that are getting serviced now in both complexity and capability. And I think fleets they're definitely starting to see it hit the service bottom line in a not fun way on the service side. But to your point, really being able to understand, okay, well, what are my repair options in an automated transmission world? What does that look like? What can the aftermarket offer? And to your point, I think we're in early days here, but you're working on a global scale at your company, right? So do you have a view of what the role remanufacturing could play in extending these advanced transmission lives and how that might influence the heavy duty market here?
Well, that's such a big question. It was so many different answers, The Europeans love remanufacturing. It's such a strong push for us globally. We're a German company. Remanufacturing is just where we need to be. We're seeing it across all of the advocacy groups here in the United States, from MEMA to everybody else, the PIROs and everybody else. Like I said, we've been a strong supporter of remanufacturing since we showed up here in the United States many, many years ago. Lower cost of ownership, better use of materials, recycling rather than creating and creating waste and creating new. Parts wear together. Everybody knows this. It's better to put parts back together that have worn together and have the personality of each other. So we're really focused on all this, but the sealing is such a big component of a good remanufactured job that it's often overlooked. You can and you can buy cheap parts, but the price you pay is the price you're going to pay going forward, and we really want to be able to bring the best quality parts to the remanufacturing side on the heavy truck side so that they don't have failures. That's really what it comes down to. Remanufacture with the OEM parts.
Right. Well, and the topic's new for me because, again, the transmission service. I remember 8 years ago trying to do a automated manual transmission service story, and when I reached out to all the folks on the manufacturer side, the story was, well, don't touch them. Right, because to your point, they are sealed units. They're sophisticated units. They didn't want service side going in there unnecessarily and starting to change things in there. But that is starting, as we noted before, that's starting to come into play on the service side. What is important to know, even for fleets that might be seeing this for the first time, about the importance of the transmission sealing components and making sure it's snug and tight and sealed up well. What do you wish they would know about how that impacts transmission reliability?
Well, it's funny, you touched on something really important, and lifetime fill really isn't a lifetime fill. That was such a buzzword in the passenger car side of things. Lifetime fill for heavy truck, the market's not ready for that. Nobody wants that. Fluids break down like everything else. Seals will break down. Gaskets break down. Rubber seals break down. They're wear items. And the better quality materials and the better engineered the product is, the longer the life is. Quality of material and quality of manufacture is kind of paramount when you're looking at something as simple as a $5 seal that could interrupt a $5,000 rebuild and cost $10,000 of downtime for one truck on the road for 2 days. So we're getting a lot of inquiries as we're trying to build the brand. You and I spoke before about we need to build the brand. We want to make people aware of what we're doing. And when I start talking to repair facilities out there, they're always saying, man, crankshaft seals. You can buy a $10 crankshaft seal, but I'm doing a $15,000 in-chassis rebuild on this Detroit, and I can't do that in good conscience and expect it to last the lifetime that I need it to last. So the risk of using inferior parts for sealing is just greater than the risk of anything, in my opinion. You can't throw away a whole rebuild job on a poor O-ring. It's not worth it.
Right. And, to your point, too, having those service locations, be it in-house with fleets or service providers, aware of that, right? And that there are options available. Because, again, going back to it, this is kind of a new ground for the service side. But the impact, to your point of, all right, well, $10, $15, $5 seal, whatever the seal is in that particular component and how much that could save in the long run. I think we're just starting to understand that on some of these larger, sophisticated components that are being manufactured now.
And when they buy a kit, you buy an engine rebuild kit and a reseal kit, use every part in that kit that's applicable. Don't skip anything. Those are in there for a reason. We know what's failing. We get the data from the OEs. We see what's failing and why, and we try to improve on that. So please use all the parts in the kit. Leftover parts are no good.
That's right. They're not doing anyone good sitting in the shop on the shelf, right?
They're going to sit on your shelf forever, and you're going to say, where did I find that part? So, oh yeah, I should have put that in that Cummins rebuild.
That's right. Hey, Tom, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate you giving me some insight to this. I'm sure we're going to talk to you a lot more as all this develops on the service side.
We'll keep you up to date on what we're doing. I hope to have some really good news here on the mechatronic thing like we highlighted earlier. So thank you for your time. Thank you, Babcock. You guys do a great job for this industry, and we truly appreciate what you guys do. So thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.